Flight controllers frantically tried to communicate with the airplane. Nothing. What happened? How can you lose a jetliner? How can it vanish in thin air?
After 11 years of searching through empty water and broken dreams, we finally have the answer to what happened to Malaysia Airlines flight MH370. This month, a team of experts revealed a breakthrough that pinpointed the final moments of those 239 souls.
Crew of the Petrel has been scanning with a deep-sea sonar drone. The drone has brought back an image of something down there that's about the right size and about the right place.
It is not what anyone expected, and the findings are deeply disturbing for everyone involved. See, the ocean floor is about to give up its secrets, and the math behind this discovery is flawless. You won't believe how close we were to finding it years ago. The truth is finally surfacing. Shattering the mystery forever. Investigators are launching a new high-tech search today for a plane that disappeared more than 10 years ago. The Malaysia Airlines flight vanished from radar over the Indian Ocean with 239 people on board. For over a decade, Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 has haunted the world. A modern Boeing 777, equipped with the most advanced tracking systems ever built, simply vanished from the sky with 239 souls on board. No distress call, no warning, just silence and then nothing. But now everything is about to change. This month, a new search has begun in the depths of the southern Indian Ocean. This is not another hopeful expedition into the unknown. This time, researchers believe they have finally cracked the code that has eluded investigators for 11 long years. New analysis, refined data, and a breakthrough in understanding the aircraft's final moments have converged into what many are calling the best chance humanity has ever had to solve aviation's greatest mystery. So, what changed? What do researchers now believe happened to MH370, and why are experts suddenly confident that the answers may finally be within reach? What most people do not realize is that the ocean floor is not just a flat, sandy plain, it is a rugged landscape of mountains and trenches deeper than the Grand Canyon. This makes finding a plane like looking for a needle in 1,000 haystacks. But here is the catch. Scientists have recently applied something called Weak Signal Propagation Reporter data, or WSPR, to the flight path. This is a global network of radio signals that acts like an invisible web in the sky. When a large object, like a plane, passes through these signals, it creates a tiny disturbance. By mapping thousands of these tiny radio interactions from that night in March, researchers have traced a path that was previously invisible to civilian and military radar. This is a key detail because it shows the plane was flying on a very specific heading for hours. And get this, the new data suggests the aircraft ended up in a location just outside where previous teams were looking. The search area has been narrowed down to a zone only about 30 miles wide. That might sound big, but in the vastness of the Indian Ocean, it is a bullseye. But the path it took next was something no radar could ever predict. Moment everything went dark. On March 8, 2014, Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 departed Kuala Lumpur just after midnight bound for Beijing. The flight was routine. The weather was clear. The crew was experienced. For the first 40 minutes, everything proceeded exactly as expected. Then the aircraft crossed into Vietnamese airspace and the world lost contact. We have received worrisome information. A Malaysia Airlines plane en route to Beijing has lost all contact. What followed defied every assumption about modern aviation. There was no Mayday call, no emergency beacon, no indication that anything was wrong. The Boeing 777 simply stopped responding and disappeared from civilian radar. In an age where we can track packages across continents in real time, a massive passenger jet had become invisible. The initial confusion quickly transformed into global alarm. Search teams scrambled across the South China Sea, then pivoted to the Strait of Malacca, then shifted again as military radar revealed something shocking. The aircraft had not crashed shortly after losing contact. Instead, it had turned sharply west, crossed back over Malaysia, and continued flying for hours into the Indian Ocean. This revelation changed everything. MH370 had not suffered a sudden catastrophic failure. Something far more complex had occurred, something that left investigators with more questions than answers. Basic logic suggests that if a plane has a major mechanical problem, the pilots try to land at the nearest airport. But this plane bypassed several perfectly good runways. It flew through waypoints used by professional pilots, which means whoever was at the controls knew exactly what they were doing. It is not that simple, though. As the plane reached the edge of the Indian Ocean, it performed a series of turns that avoided radar detection from multiple countries. It was like a ghost navigating through the cracks of the world's security systems. The crazy part is that the plane stayed in the air for more than 7 hours after the last words were spoken to air traffic control. During that time, the engines were working perfectly and the satellite ping showed a steady flight path. Yeah, about that. The mystery was only just beginning because once the fuel ran out, the plane had to go somewhere. However, the pieces that washed up on the beach told a very different story. Evidence nature could not hide. For months after the disappearance, hope and uncertainty existed in equal measure. Families waited for news that never came. Investigators analyzed data that offered no clear direction. The ocean kept its silence. Then in July 2015, a discovery on Reunion Island shattered that silence forever. A piece of aircraft wing battered by months at sea washed onto a beach thousands of miles from where the search had focused. The last confirmed communication between a plane and a satellite was at 8:11 a.m. Malaysian time on Saturday, the 8th of March. Forensic analysis confirmed the worst. The fragment belonged to MH370. The aircraft had indeed met its end in the Indian Ocean. More debris followed. Pieces appeared along the coasts of Madagascar, Mozambique, Tanzania, and South Africa. Each fragment provided confirmation of tragedy while deepening the mystery. Oceanographers traced the drift patterns backward, attempting to calculate where the wreckage originated. Their models pointed to a vast stretch of ocean southwest of Australia, an area so remote and deep that searching it would push technology to its absolute limits. Yet for all the evidence that washed ashore, the most critical pieces remained missing. No main fuselage, no flight recorders, no definitive crash site. The ocean had offered fragments of truth while guarding its deepest secrets. But here is the deal. Scientists recently looked at the barnacles growing on that wing piece found on Reunion Island. These are not just any barnacles. They are a species called Lepus anatifera. By studying the chemistry of their shells, researchers can tell exactly what the water temperature was every single day the barnacle was growing. This acts like a natural biological GPS. By matching those temperatures to ocean records, they were able to map the exact route the debris took through the sea. This confirmed that the plane crashed much further south than anyone expected. It also showed that the wreckage likely sat in very cold, deep water before breaking apart. This is a key detail that narrowed the search zone from millions of square miles down to a few thousand. Yet the satellite pings were about to reveal a secret hidden for years. Breakthrough nobody saw coming. What separates this new search from those that came before is not just better technology. It is a fundamental shift in understanding what happened during the final hours of flight MH370. When you lose contact with a plane, there are three known phases: uncertainty, alert, and distress. For years, investigators relied primarily on satellite handshake data to estimate the aircraft's path. These electronic pings exchanged automatically between the aircraft and an Inmarsat satellite provided the only clues about where the Boeing 777 traveled after disappearing from radar. Mathematical analysis of these signals produced a series of possible flight paths, all ending somewhere along a vast arc stretching across the Indian Ocean. But recent research has taken this analysis further than ever before. Analysts have spent years studying the debris that washed ashore, examining not just what pieces were found, but where and when they appeared. Advanced drift modeling, incorporating ocean currents, wind patterns, and seasonal variations, has allowed researchers to work backward from the beaches of East Africa to calculate more precisely where the wreckage entered the water. This reverse engineering of the debris field produced a startling result. The crash site was likely not where previous searches had focused. Additionally, new analysis of the satellite data has refined estimates of the aircraft's speed and descent profile during its final moments. Some researchers now believe MH370 did not glide gently into the ocean, but instead entered a steep, high-speed dive. This theory has profound implications for where wreckage might rest and how concentrated or scattered the debris field might be. Perhaps most significantly, researchers have applied fresh scrutiny to the flight path itself. By combining satellite data with atmospheric analysis and fuel consumption models, analysts have identified a narrower corridor that was only partially covered by previous searches. This zone, lying just outside the areas already scanned, has emerged as the prime candidate for the aircraft's final resting place. Ocean Infinity has announced that this refined search area represents their highest confidence target yet. For the first time since the investigation began, researchers are not simply searching. They believe they know where to look. The crazy part is that the data points to a high-speed impact that would have shattered the plane into millions of pieces. This explains why the main body has been so hard to find with sonar. It is not a whole plane down there, it is a massive field of small fragments hidden in the silt. But the most disturbing part was how the plane finally touched the water. Truth waiting in the deep. As vessels take position over the southern Indian Ocean, a strange tension hangs over the operation. This is the third major attempt to find flight MH370. Two have failed already. History tells us to be cautious. But this search is different. Researchers have spent 11 years studying every single thing that went wrong before. They have refined their models, challenged their old assumptions, and converged on a target area with more confidence than ever. The technology is hands down better, and the strategy is sharper. The preparation has been totally exhaustive. None of this guarantees success, though. The ocean remains vast, deep, and completely indifferent to what we want. Searching at these depths is never routine. Every day brings new challenges and opportunities for the unknown to mess with even the best plans. Yet there is a reason for careful optimism. If the research is correct, if the drift models and satellite analysis and fuel calculations have finally pointed to the right spot, then the answer to the greatest mystery in the sky may be waiting just beneath the surface. After 11 years of total silence, the search has returned. And this time, science might finally be on our side. See, here is the deal. The new equipment can see things as small as a laptop on the ocean floor, 20,000 feet down. That is nearly 4 miles of water pressing down on these machines. This is a massive leap from the blurry sonar images we had 10 years ago. We are talking about high-resolution cameras and autonomous robots that can map 60 square miles a day. Nobody expected this level of detail to be possible so soon. But here is the catch. Even if they find it, the truth might be harder to hear than the silence. The crazy part is that some researchers are starting to look at even wilder theories as the search begins. Basically, there is a growing theory about a remote hijack. Some people believe that someone tapped into the plane's internal network from a remote location. Boeing actually has a patent for an uninterruptible autopilot that can take control of a plane if the crew is in trouble. What most people do not realize is that some theorists believe this system was activated, but it ended up flying the plane to a destination it was never meant to reach. And get this, there is also the theory regarding the 5,000 pounds of mysterious cargo that was on the manifest. We are talking about crates of electronics and lithium batteries that some say were never properly checked. There are rumors that the plane was diverted or even intercepted because of what was inside those boxes. It sounds like something out of a spy novel, but when a massive jet vanishes into thin air, people start looking for complex answers. Another wild idea involves electronic warfare. Some think the plane was caught in the middle of a high-tech military test that accidentally cloaked it from every radar on the planet. Yeah, about that. Whether it was a technical glitch or someone pulling the strings from thousands of miles away, the ocean is the only place left with the proof. Do you think we will ever find the full truth behind this mystery? Leave a comment below, hit the like button, and subscribe for more deep dives into the unknown.